Welcome back to day 22. Okay, today is a massive one. If you have been feeling the crushing weight of giant JavaScript bundles or just tearing your hair out over overly complex state management, well, you are definitely in the right place. Think of this explainer as your ultimate roadmap to finally escaping JavaScript fatigue. Today we're stepping totally outside the traditional boundaries and looking straight into the post-SPA world. We're talking about the next generation of front-end architectures. Let's get into it.
So, here is our game plan for today. We'll start with the modern SPA problem, then we'll look at empowering HTML with HTMX, dive into lit and native web components, tackle quick and resumable architecture, and wrap up with the future front-end landscape.
Section 1. The modern SPA problem, hitting the JavaScript ceiling.
Now, we all know our web applications today are incredibly interactive. They're highly real-time, they're heavily data-driven. But honestly, the tools we've been relying on for the past decade, they are seriously buckling under their own weight. We are hitting a ceiling. So I really want you to ask yourself this. Why are we shipping so much JavaScript? I mean, think about the sheer amount of time we spend managing global client state or sweating over shaving just a few kilobytes off massive payloads just to get a simple button to work. We have somehow normalized a level of complexity that is actively, measurably hurting our performance.
And you know what the biggest culprit here is? The hydration bottleneck. In traditional SPAs, your server sends down HTML, but it's dead HTML. It doesn't do anything. The browser then has to download, parse, and execute this massive JavaScript payload just to attach event listeners and make the page actually interactive. It's literally like forcing the browser to slowly thaw out a frozen application before the user can even click a link. And the results? Huge performance overhead, a painfully delayed time to interactive, and the kind of heavy CPU drain that basically makes your phone double as a winter hand warmer. It just forces us into this incredibly complex global state management loop purely to keep the client and server in sync.
Actually, the official HTMX documentation perfectly encapsulates this whole feeling with a really simple haiku. It goes, JavaScript fatigue, longing for a hypertext already in hand. It's surprisingly profound, right? Because it points out that the industry is looking back to the foundational building blocks of the web to cure this fatigue. We don't actually need more complex tools, we just need to unlock the power of the tools we've had literally all along.
Which brings us to Section 2. HTMX, empowering HTML and the Hypermedia revival.
Think about it. Instead of relying on a super heavy JavaScript framework to handle every single interaction, what if we simply gave standard HTML superpowers? Well, HTMX is a tiny, completely dependency-free library that does exactly that. It lets you access modern browser features, we're talking AJAX, CSS transitions, WebSockets, directly from HTML attributes. There is absolutely no massive client-side state to manage here, none. It moves the state right back to where it originated, the server. It is fully embracing the concept of hypertext as the engine of application state.
Just look at the stark contrast in the mental model. In your traditional SPA, the server sends JSON data, right? Then your heavy client-side JS has to parse it, update some local store, and manually figure out the DOM re-rendering. But with HTMX, you bypass all of that, the whole shebang. The server just sends small fragments of pre-rendered HTML. HTMX grabs that HTML and simply swaps it into the DOM. You eliminate JSON parsing entirely. The server just remains the single true source of truth.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how predictable the HTMX lifecycle is. It all happens in 4 dead simple steps. First, an element fires an event. That's the trigger. Next, HTMX automatically fires off an async AJAX request to the server. Then comes the swap, where the target element in the DOM is just cleanly replaced with the new HTML fragment from the server. And finally, the settle phase, where any CSS transitions are smoothly applied. It's a completely declarative flow that requires zero custom JavaScript from you.
All right, Section 3. Lit native web components and relying on the browser.
Now, you might be wondering, what if you still want component encapsulation and really highly interactive widgets, but you absolutely refuse to accept framework bloat? Well, to do that, we first need to talk about the shadow DOM. This is a native web standard. It provides true CSS and DOM encapsulation by scoping your styles and queries to a local hidden shadow tree attached right to an element. And I want to be super clear here. This is a built-in native browser feature. It is not a framework-specific trick. It means the styles inside your component cannot leak out, and the global styles from your main document can't accidentally leak in and break your component.
But let's be honest, building native web components from scratch using vanilla JS can be a bit verbose. That is exactly where Lit comes in. Lit is this incredibly tiny library. We're talking under 5 kilobytes minified that completely supercharges web components. It gives you the lit element base class to drastically cut down on boilerplate code. It uses lit HTML for blazingly fast declarative templating. And because it's built directly on top of native custom elements, the components you build with lit can be shared and used literally anywhere, any framework or no framework at all. Compare that directly to traditional frameworks for a second. Frameworks almost always ship a virtual DOM, this heavy runtime engine sitting in the browser, doing all this artificial DOM diffing to figure out what changed, locking you right into their specific ecosystem. Lit? It leans entirely on the browser's native tools. It bypasses the virtual DOM completely, opting for direct surgical DOM updates. It's fundamentally lighter, and it works harmoniously with the web platform rather than constantly fighting against it.
Moving on to Section 4. Quick, resumable architecture, the end of hydration.
So if HTMX rethinks the network and Lit rethinks components, Quick rethinks the entire application lifecycle. Seriously, this is like the ultimate boss fight against SPA hydration. The core concept here is a massive paradigm shift called resumability. Resumability basically means serializing the exact state of the application on the server and transmitting that state along with the raw HTML. This lets the client resume execution instantly, right where the server left off. It's exactly like pausing and unpausing a movie. When you unpause a movie, you don't rewind to the very beginning and rewatch the whole thing just to continue, right? So resumability means you don't have to boot up an entire JavaScript operating system just to make a button clickable.
When you put these approaches side by side, the fundamental flaw of hydration is just glaringly obvious. Hydration forces the browser to download and totally re-execute JavaScript just to attach listeners, giving you a painfully slow time to interactive. Resumability, though, the state is pre-serialized. There is zero overhead for interactivity. Quick actually intercepts user actions and only loads the exact tiny chunk of JavaScript needed for that specific interaction. Exactly when it happens. It completely obliterates the hydration bottleneck.
And the performance benefits of this are just insane. Because of resumability, Quick delivers immediate interactivity out of the gate. It guarantees minimal JavaScript execution through this incredibly fine-grained lazy loading. Your overall JavaScript payload drops dramatically, which directly translates to highly optimized CPU and battery usage. For users on mobile devices or spotty networks, this architecture isn't just a minor improvement, it's an absolute game changer.
As an article on newline.co beautifully summarized it, the future of web development is about cutting-edge solutions that exploit the resources we already have. And honestly, that is the core philosophy behind Quick, Lit, and HTMX. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's about finally stepping back and letting the browser just do what it was built to do.
Which leads us to Section 5, the future front-end landscape, shipping less, trusting the server.
Let's pull all three of these distinct architectures together into a cohesive view of where web development is actually heading. We are looking at a true post-SPA paradigm shift here. If your bottleneck is data syncing and state, HTMX fixes the network for zero JavaScript client state. If your bottleneck is component bloat and framework lock-in, Lit fixes components via browser-native encapsulation. And if your bottleneck is brutal initial load times, Quick fixes rendering through resumability for truly instant interactivity.
So if there is literally one primary takeaway I want you to remember from day 22, it's this. The next generation of the web is about shipping less JavaScript and utilizing native browser APIs. The goal moving forward is not to go out and learn an even heavier, more complex framework. The goal is to fundamentally simplify your architecture. So I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on before our next session. In the relentless push for faster web apps, is your current framework acting as the engine driving you forward, or is it just the heavy cargo slowing you down? Take a hard look at your tools, think critically about your architecture, and I will see you back here for day 23.